Hello, good day. My name is Jarvis, Mambo with Jarvis. I run a YouTube channel called Mambo with Jarvis, and today we are on to our mathematics experience. Today we'll be looking at a matter in maths that borders around arithmetic. Like I will say in my Mambo multiverse world, what we have is arithmetic, algebra, or what? Geometry. So today we'll be looking at arithmetic. Continue with the series number-based system, essentially looking at base 2, or what is called the binary numbers. All right, so you notice that my board is quite loaded. It's very loaded, and this is done so that we can make connection to what we're going to be doing today. All right, so in continuing with what we had treated earlier, we had said that the whole idea of a number-based system is in the context or in the understanding of a counting system. Numbers help us to do what? To count. So in looking at base 2, in base 2, we're not going to have 2. The lowest number you're going to have there will be 0, and the highest number you're going to have there will be 1. So we're going to have something like this: 0 and then what? 1. So 0 to 1 and then back to 0. But in reading 0, we now have what's called 1, 0. The next one becomes what? 1, 1. So that's more like how we have it in the counting system. But today, we're going to be looking at how we carry out operations with binary. Binary is another word for base 2. How do we carry out these arithmetic operations using binary system? Okay, very simple. Now, to hit the road, there are 3 major operations we would handle for those students who are in grade, let's say JSS 1, JSS 2, JSS 3. What we'll be more concerned with is to look at operations like addition, multiplication, and subtraction. The reason why we consider this is because they are quite easy to understand and to handle. So, we have addition. If I have 0 plus 0, I'm going to get what? 0. Remember that this is the context of base 2. Sorry, I not put base 2 here, but I want to guess that you understand that I'm dealing with what? Base 2. Now, if I have 0 plus 1, I'm going to get 1. If I have 1 plus 0, I'm going to get 1. If I have 1 plus 1, I'm not going to get 2. I'm going to get what? 1, 0. Because 2, I taught us how to convert. 2 will be base 10, but the answer must be in base 2, and what the base 2 equivalent of 2 is what? 1, 0. Please, this is not 10, this is 1, 0. All right, so with that settled, we can now come quickly to multiplication. Now, for multiplication, we have 0 times 1. That will give us 0. We have 0 times 0 first. That will give us 0. We have 0 times 1. That will give us 0. Remember the understanding that anything that multiplies 0 must give you 0. Then we have 1 times 0, which will give us 0 also. And then we have what? 1 times 1, which will give us 1. So this is what we have for multiplication. Now, you will notice very well that I have not talked about subtraction, and it is very intentional. I will leave subtraction till when we start to apply them, because when we start to do subtraction, there are certain things we must pay attention to. So, it's not about talking, it's about getting into the real business, the action, the solution, the solving. That's what makes you a mathematician. And that's where the other side of my board becomes very important. We'll be using our new general mathematics for JSS 1 grade 7, page 197, exercise 24D. We're going to be looking at questions from that exercise, and they will form the basis for us to answer questions. Now, I'm going to leave this part of my board. I wouldn't clean it. It's intentional because I'll be making references to it as the need may arise. I'm going to clean this part, and I'm going to leave the top so you can, wherever you're watching this video, you'll be able to flow with what you have, and then we'll get down to solving the problems. Don't go away. Okay, so we're back looking at exercise 24D of page 197, of an Nigerian mathematics. I've not solved every question, but I just picked a few to drive home the point, and I will trust that you should go back or you will take out the time to solve everything. I always encourage my students in solving problems from textbooks, always try to clear the exercise because the ideas are always connected from one question solved to the next. All right, so let's look at this. So look at this very well. Now, 1 plus 1, we start with 1e. 1 plus 1 is 2 if we're talking about base 10. But remember that we're dealing with what? Base 2. We're dealing with what? Base 2. So 1 plus 1 will give you 1, 0. Because I told you that there is no place for 2 in base 2. So this will be 1, 0. So we'll put down the 0. I will carry 1. I have a carry of 1. 1 plus this one will give me 1, 0 again. I have another carry. 1 plus 1 will give me 0. 1, 0 again. I have another carry. And I have what? 1 plus 1 will give me 1, 0. So my answer becomes 1, 0, 0, 0, 0 base 2. Notice I have not said 10,000. But if you mention 10,000, you're talking of base 10. But because you're dealing with base 2, this is what we expect your answer to look like. All right. So we go to the next question. I think I'll go to D. Now we're going to be adding that. And so 1 plus 1 will give me 1, 0. So I'll put down what? 0. And I'll have a carry of 1. 0 plus 0 is what? 0 plus the 1, that will be 1. 1 plus 1 will be what? 1, 0. And that will be in base 2. Are we seeing that? They're quite simple, very simple problems to handle. Now, we come to E. Now, this is where we're doing subtraction. Like I said before, I didn't state the rules for subtraction because I was very, very careful. Now, if you have 1 minus 1, it will be 0. 1 minus 1 will be 0. Then you drop this one down because it's not doing anything to this digit. Technically, what you have here is 0. So 0, 1, 1 is same thing as what? 1, 1. So the answer becomes 1, 0, 0 base 2. So now we come to the second one. How do we do this? Now, I'm going to improvise a little, so you need to watch me. You may not see this like this in other textbooks, but me, I'm going to improvise a little just to pass the point home. Now, for this, 0 minus 1, it's not possible. It's not possible, at least coming from a primary school background. 0 minus 1 is not possible. So what do? I look at the next digit. I can't take anything from here. So I still have a problem. So I need to take from the next digit. If I can't take from here, I need to take from the next digit. Now, when I take 1 from here, this will become 0. That 1 I'm bringing here is actually 2. Now, I insist children to work as though they were dealing with base 10 when solving subtraction problem. It makes the understanding easier for you and you will not be penalized at all for that. So I would then switch to something I can relate with. So when I borrow 1 from here, I have borrowed what? 2. Because I'm dealing with what? Base 2. Every one I borrow is what? 2. So it will be 2 here, but this is not where I want to use it first. This is what I want to use. So I will take 1 from these 2 I borrowed, and I'll have 1 left here. And then I'll now have what here? 2. So 2 minus 1 will give me what? 1. And then 1 minus 1 will give me what? 0 base 2. Which you can now write as your final answer as what? 1 base 2. Now, you can use this method. This is a method I've used all my life because as a child coming up, I always found it difficult for me to process that 1, 0 minus 1. So instead of going through that trouble, what I just simply do is I switch to base 10. So I call it the switching to base 10 technique. Switch to base 10, switch or imagine as though you were working in base 10. But remember that the one you borrowed here is in the context or in the value of the base you're dealing with. The one you borrowed is in the context and in the value of the base you're working in. Sorry, I have so much with grammar, but I'm trusting that my English students will find me very, very interesting in this course. So with that said, you apply that knowledge and then you're through with what? Addition and subtraction. The most important aspect is for you to go back and practice. So what's up next? multiplication. Don't go away. Okay, so we were going to handle our multiplication concept now. Still using our textbook, exercise 24D, page 197, and we just take 2 questions. Notice that I've tried to keep the problem very simple, just for you to get a grasp of the concept. Now, every time you multiply in mathematics, especially if you're using this technique, you're doing 2 levels. The first level is using the digits to work the multiplication process out, and the second level is to add up your answer. So coming from our primary school knowledge, let's see what that implies. Now 0 times 0 will give me 0, 0 times 1 will give me 0, 1 times 0 will give me what? 0. But this one gives me first level. When I use this, it will give me what? Second level. So this will be 0, but I will not write it here. You know why? Because when you start to use this to multiply, it moves to the next level. I see it, and this position. And then 1 times 1 will give me 1. When I will change to addition. Please take note of this. It's more like the beautiful thing about maths is once you understand the process well, it helps you to revise. That's why I always tell students, make sure what you were taught earlier in your primary school, you don't play with it. You keep it very well and make sure you remember it. So this will be 0, add them now 0 and 1. The different techniques you can use and base 2. The different techniques you can use, but let's stick to this one because this is what we use more often than not. There are other methods I can use, but I'll just stick to this one to keep things nice, smooth, and interesting. Now we come to the next one. Here, this one will multiply this one. Give me 1. Give me another 1. Give me another 1. Remember, I've done with this first level. I'll come to the second level. The second level is always started. There's a school in Port Harcourt. I think it's Quintessence. I taught a student from that school. I noticed that before you start, the student will always put always put a 0 there. And I think I love that technique. The whole idea is to ensure that I don't by error put a value there. Do you understand? So just put a 0 there so you don't forget and you put it there. And because of our study, that might be the technique I will be deploying. So with that done, I use this 1 to multiply this. I get another 1 here. And then I do my addition. Don't forget to put your addition sign here. And then 1 plus 0. 1 plus 1 will give me, technically in base 10, 2, but it's actually 1, 0. So 2 in base 2 is actually 1, 0. So I put a 0, have a carry of 1. 1 plus this one. Always write that very small so it doesn't become distracting. 1 plus 1 will give me what? 2, which is actually 1, 0 again. So I put my 1, 0 there. And my final answer is 1, 0, 0, 0 base 2. Not 1,000. It's not 1,000. It is 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0 base 2. Alright, so that solves that. And after this, notice that at this level we will not be dealing with division because we need some extra knowledge to be able to handle division. Maybe we'll come to sometime later in the course we may stretch our thinking towards division, but for now we'll keep it very simple and real and avoid division. So up next, we're going to look at some problems that are a bit more demanding, not difficult, but more demanding. I'll just pick a few of them, we'll look at them and close up this learning. Don't go away. Okay, so we're going to be taking problems that are a little more demanding, but take note that usually in the exam setup, you'll be given questions to test your understanding of the various concepts you've gotten. So I will just be taking us through this one. Let's see how we're going to solve this. Now, look at this carefully. 0 minus 1. It's not possible. Drawing from your primary school knowledge. So what do? You need to borrow 1 from here. You take 1 from here. This becomes 0. That one you're taking here becomes 2. So 2 minus 1 is 1. Remember I told you I'm using my primary school approach. I've learned these things so well. So I keep that. The base I'm working with becomes the base, the value of what I'm carrying. So 0 minus 1 is not possible again. So I take 1 from here. I'll have 0. And that becomes 2. So that becomes 2 minus 1. That is 1 again. 0 minus 1 is not possible. I take 1 from here again, and that 1 I've taken is equivalent of the base I'm dealing with. Don't forget that. And that becomes 1 again. 0 minus 1 is not possible, so I take another 1 from here. That becomes 2. 2 minus 1 gives me 1. This is 2. So my answer becomes what? 1, 1, 1, 1, B is 2. Now, we come to this one. This is where I want you to be a little careful. Now, 1 plus 1 plus 1 is what? 3. Is that not? If we're dealing with base 10, it would have been 3. But in base 2, it's actually 1, 1. So look at this. This is what you need to do here, and you have to be very careful about it. 1 plus 1 is 1, 0. So plus another 1 will be what? 1, 1. That is 1, 0, 1, which will be 1, 1. So that's 1, 1. So you put what? 1, and you have a carry of what? 1. 1 plus 1, so you should make it a little small so it doesn't become distracting. 1 plus 1 will give you what? 0. That's 1, 0. So I'll put down 0. I have a carry of 1. So how do I treat this one? This is where I have to be very careful. Now, 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, everything would have given us 4. So let's look at the iteration of how this is done. 1 plus 1 is equal to what? 1, 0. 1 plus another 1 is equal to 1, 0. So 1 plus 1, 0 plus 1, 0 will give me 0, 0, 1. So that's 1, 0, 0. So I'll put down 0 here. And technically, I'm going to have a carry of 2, or what you may call a carry of 1, 0. So depends on what you're doing. I won't tie it to a particular method. I would say, for me, I'll rather write 2 here so I don't forget. So I'm having a carry of 2. So 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. So what is the arrangement of 4? 4 is actually what? 1, 0, 0. So I'll put here what? 1, 0, 0. And this becomes my final answer in base 2. So it's something you must take note of when solving problems. Alright, so we're done with that. We will now come to this one. So how do we handle this one now? Quite simple too. Multiplication. Remember, now look at it. I have 1, 2, 3. I'm going to have 3 levels. I'm going to have what? 3 levels. So first level, 1 multiply this. I'm going to get the same thing out. Then, like my student from Quentin says, for Harcourt, I'm going to put a 0 there so I don't forget. And then I write the same thing again. I seen that. Then I'm going to use this one again. Then this time around, because I'm on the third level, I'm going to put 2 zeros. I can't use this level. I can't use this level. For third level, I can't use the second one here. So I'm going to have 1, 0, 1, 1, 1. Then next I'll try to add them. Changes to what? Basic addition. So what do I do? This will be 1. This will be another 1. 1 plus 1 will give me what? 1, 0 or 2, which is 1, 0. So I'll have a carry of 1. That carry of 1 will make this one 3, which is actually what? 1, 1. So in solve, we can have that 2 is 1, 0, 3 is 1, 1, 4 is what? 1, 0, 0. These are some things you must take note of. So this will be what? 1. I have a carry of 1 here. It becomes 4. So I'll put what? 0. Carry of 2. So I'll put 2 so I don't forget. That will be 4. Put another 0. Carry of what? 2 again. So that 2, I'll add it to this one. It becomes what? 1, 1. That will be 1, 1. Base 2. And that will be your final answer. I want to trust you found this experience quite interesting. The most important thing after now is for you to practice and go over this exercise again. And I'm trusting that when you do that, you're going to find that binary numbers are quite interesting. Now, the question will be, what is up next? See that at the close of this video. Don't forget, look up Mamu with Jarvis, click and subscribe. I'll see you in my next class.